I don't want to make you feel old, Walter, but this is very exciting for me. You won the World Rally Championship first when I was 10. So I thought, right, this is a cool guy. This is someone I'm going to pay attention to. And you had an amazing career. Do you have very, very fond memories of your time in WRC?
Yes, of course. I have done motorsport now nearly for 40 years. And when I was first world champion, it was 1980. At this time, I think we had a lot of cars which have been on the same level. You know, if you, it was an Escort, it was a Fiat, it was a Toyota, it was a Datsun, a Nissan. It was really, really interesting. And we had about between 15 and 20 drivers who have been able to win a world championship race. And that was really interesting at this time. And I looking back, and I think it was maybe the most interesting time in all my rally career.
Do you think the modern game is catching up in many ways? It's been through a lean period. Do you think WRC now is going to be good again?
Yeah, okay, but you know, that's a different story. Today, rally driving is, especially on a world championship, it's something like you put some mini racing behind, because I remember just looking forward for the next week, Rally Monte Carlo. We had 47 different stages in Rally Monte Carlo. Today, they're using 6 stages, which are used 3 times. That means it's more racing than rally driving, you know. That is, and the total length of Monte Carlo is 1,300 kilometers. In my time, it was 5,000 kilometers. The longest driving is maximum 10, 11 hours. In my time, it was 40 hours. It was a different sport, you know. But it doesn't mean it's not very interesting what they do today. But I prefer the old times, because that was something that was a improvement of condition of the driver and the cars, and of course it was maybe a little bit more. You could use a little bit more your head. Today you have just to be from the first mile to the end. You have to go flat out. If you make some tactic, you are somewhere. But before it was helpful if you are a little better connection between the right leg and the brain. That was the different story.
Do you think the sport lacks characters these days? I mean, in your day, you, Ari Vatanen, Hannu Mikkola, Stig Blomqvist, Henry Toivonen, the list goes on. Do we need more characters in the sport?
Yes, of course. If you look today, look back the last 10 to 15 years, I think you have maximum 5 pilots which are on the top level. And 30 years before, it was 15 pilots have on the top level. That makes it different. And if you're looking back to Sebastian, he was, I think, 9 times world champion. Now we have the same situation. I think nobody can beat Sebastian Ogier again, because he is at top level, and the rest is something which is not on the same level like he is.
Do you think people were turned off by the Loeb dominance?
Yes, I think so. That was something, but it is also a question that the character of rallying has changed. Before, rally driving was something especially for Scandinavian people. It was a lot of loose surface. It was snow, it was gravel. And in the meantime, we have a little bit more tarmac stages. And of course, the cars has been much more difficult to understand. And it seems that the Scandinavians still they are good car drivers, but they are not so interested to improve the technique like the French people. I heard from Ogier and also from Loeb, they are able to tell the engineers really details what the car is doing. And the most of the Scandinavian drivers seems just sitting in the car going fast. But and today, if not everything is perfectly set up, you are second. You know, that is, I think the car is always getting more important than it was before. In my time, if the car was not really proper, okay, then you still was able to win a stage. But today, if the car is not on the top level, you are somewhere behind.
I tell you what I like about Sebastian Loeb is that he tried other things. And of course, you did that as well. You raced. Yeah. You raced in the World Sports Car Championship with Lancia and with Porsche. Yeah. You do IMSA, you did the DTM, you did Pikes Peak. I think that versatility is important. We don't get that at the very top level in international motorsport anymore. And that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, that was, if you're looking back before me, it was just, at this time it was Larousse who was able to do both. And it was, the most rally drivers which I know in my time, like Valdegaard, Munari, they have been good rally drivers, but they was not able to win on the racetrack. And that was something very specially when I arrived, especially if I here in UK, I wasn't never really successful in rally driving when I was here in UK, because I come once a year, and of course at this time stages have been secret, and I had no idea what's going on. And the Scandinavians have done all the English championship, and they was used. For me, it was better to come to England, like 1,000 kilometers of Silverstone. I won 6 hours of Brands Hatch. I won with a race car. But for my head, I was always a rally driver. I think that is really car driving and race driving. It was just, I have done it. It makes me even more perfect. And I think that is also a very important part today. If a pilot wants to be the best in the world, even in rally driving, he should be able to be also fast in a race car.
Yeah, I think rally drivers make better racing drivers. You're a good example. Yeah. Sandro Munari, he won the Targa Florio. Yeah. It doesn't work the other way around. Yeah. Therefore, I think rally drivers are better.
Yeah, okay, that's something. I don't know. I remember once when I was first world champion, a newspaper asked to make a test between the Formula One world champion and me. It was at this time it was Emerson Fittipaldi, and at this time we have been in Silverstone. First of all, I didn't fix in a Formula One because I was much too tall, and after 2 days trying really hard, I just have done, I think, 5 or 6 laps, and I was something 2 seconds slower than Emerson was. And after we used my Fiat on a 5 kilometer stage in the forest, and I was 28 seconds faster than he was.
Brilliant. You are renowned as a test driver. You've worked with Porsche for many, many years, and some incredible laps of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Are you still very much involved with Porsche and their development?
Yes, of course. I'm now 20 years with Porsche, and especially in the last 2 years, I was involved with the 918, which is now our top car. And Nürburgring, that is something which is also fun for a rally driver, because it's not a normal racetrack. There is something going up and down. You have compression. You have some jumps, and that is really car driving, and I like it very much. And of course, after 20 years testing, I know every corner. I know every stone on Nürburgring, and it's a lot of fun. Even if now with the new car, if you do 657 in a standard car with standard tires, sometimes you start to think and say, I don't know if I need this anymore to go with 320 kilometers on Töttinger Höhe. If something happened, that is something. I start now.
Are you telling us you're slowing down a bit, Walter?
Not really. We had in September, the Porsche people want to make a new record on the racetrack on Nürburgring with the 918, and I said, listen, we have 8 young race drivers. I don't think it's the right thing that I have to do it. I am 67 and we have young boys. I said, yeah, okay, but you have to be on the same day. We need some pictures from you because you have really made this car. And then I said, okay, I will come. And then in the first day, we had 2 race drivers. I was trying to get a new record. And first I started with 709, 706, 707. And then he asked me, he said, listen, you have to go 1 lap, use this car from Mark, but he has used tires. You must not go fast, just to have some pictures from you. And I was not sitting in the car for 2 weeks, and I just sitting in the car, make one lap, and I did 7:04. And these young drivers, I was completely destroyed. This is what I said to them. Remember, in 40 years on this day, I said, why? In 40 years, you're as old as I am today. And that gives you, of course, a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, classic. Monte Carlo Rally is coming up. You won it 4 times in 4 different cars. Yeah. That must have really annoyed everybody.
Yeah, that was the next spleen in my head. I said, I want to show that the pilot is the important thing, not the car. You know, that is, if you are sitting in the best car, you have to win. But it's much more interesting if you are not in the best car and you win. And that is something that was a special motivation for me. I said, okay, let's try. And I've had 4 years in a row, and every year in a different car. And I think I was only once in a really winning car. It was in '84 when the Audi was with 4-wheel drive, the absolutely best car.
So you won it in the Opel, the Fiat.
First in the Fiat, and then in the Opel,
and
then in the Lancia, and then in the Audi. Yes.
What was your favourite car? The best rally car you ever drove? I'm hoping you're going to say the S1.
For my style of driving, the best car was the Lancia 037 because he was like a Formula car. I like to go a very clean line. I like to use only a little bit of steering, and that was perfect in a Lancia.
And it was a bit of a man's car, wasn't it? Because it was only rear-wheel drive.
That's right. And I think the high level of car driving is rear-wheel drive. You know, life is much easier in a 4-wheel driven car. That as soon you are able to give the cars in a new direction, you just put down to the bottom. But in a rear-wheel driven car with 320 horsepower like a Lancia, you always have to to look how much power you really can use, that you don't go only sideways and the cars are spinning. That was really interesting. Finally, of course, on the end of my career with Audi, in an Audi S1 with 550 horsepower, that was something very special. You know, that was really exciting.
And that footage of you with the camera by your feet and the people in Portugal, just bonkers.
Okay, if I see these videos today, I'm shocked. I don't know how I was able to do this one, but at this time you was used it. It was every day the same, and you were thinking yesterday they will jump away today. Let's fetch. But I was really happy that I never hit somebody, and if I see it today, it was something really, really crazy, and I think it's much better today. But people like this Group B cars. I think you never get the emotion like a Group B car today. That is, sometimes I come back to some historic rallies. And last year, 2013, I was in an Audi S1, and people getting crazy if you come with this car. The sound and of course the power. The response is much worse than on a modern car. But if you are over 5,000 ref, the power from a modern VW RSC is like nothing, 320 horsepower against 550. That was interesting, and at this time you could make mistakes with the acceleration anytime. Today you just put down and the car has a fantastic traction, and everything goes much easier.
Sadly, I've got to let you go, which is a shame because I could listen to you all day, and all day tomorrow, and all day on Sunday as well. Ladies and oh God. Hi. It's better. I'm surrounded by rally legends.
I just needed to come up and say hello. I came just behind and I saw him on the screen myself, so I thought I have to come out. You know, we got
it's a lovely moment.
Young Solberg is a big fan.
Let me say thank you to Walter, and then we'll talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if God was a rally driver, he'd look and sound like this. Please put your hands together for Walter Rohrl.